So every time I speak since Simchas Torah, I can't get away from the trauma of war. And just a short while ago, I gave a shmuz in one of the big koilelim in Beitar, and it was a shmuz, not a shir, just proper shkofa in these difficult days. So Chanukah has two sides to it. Adlukas haner, and that is Persum and Nisa. But the spirit and the soul of Chanukah is Hoidoya. So many times I say, with a little touch of humor, the Rambam was one of the greatest giants Klal Yisrael ever had. And he did what no one did before him. And for hundreds of years, nobody dared to do after him. To tackle the entirety of Torah Hashem, all the Tariag mitzvahs, ad tumum, al buriyum, every shaila that Chazal discussed anywhere regarding Kol HaTorah Kula. And the other amazing feat that Rambam did was to categorize and codify Yud Dalet Sforim, that means 14 Hagedores, and Kol HaTorah Kula. Every halacha fits into one of these 14 categories. So if the Rambam would turn to me and he would say, I don't need your help in Birer Halacha and not even in Hagedorah, but could you please save my time and do some technical work for me? These are the halachas and these are the Yud Dalet Sforim. All I ask from you is just to pair them together, you know, and put whatever halacha fits into one of these Yud Dalet Sforim. It is clear that I would put all the dinam of halal and sefer ahava somewhere together with brochas, kriya shema, tefillah, halal. That would be natural. And maybe that is why the Rambam did not turn to me. Because the Rambam had a different feeling. And all the halachas of halal are in Hilchas Chanukah. Sefer Zmanim and not sefer ahava. And this proves that the neshama yaseir of Chanukah is halal. So in Tfilas Al Anisim, we don't mention the Nes of Pach HaShemen. That's not the Ikar. That's not the real story. The Nes of Pach HaShemen was a Nes. A touch of Lamala Mederech HaTeva. But what Chanukah is about, the story of Chanukah is Netzochen HaMalchama and Bitul Gzeres HaYavonim. And that is what Tfilas Al Anisim is about. The Bitul Gzeres, we just briefly mentioned Hidliku Neres Bechatzes Chudshechu, but that is not the Nes. So Perek Kuf Zayin and Tilim is the Perek from which we learn Dalet Shetzrichem Lahoidos. And in this Perek there's one posuk that is a refrain, and we say it 4 times. Yoidu L'Shem Chazdoi V'nifla Oisev L'Vnei Yodam. And this posuk teaches us the choiva kfula umechupeles of a Baal HaNes. Number 1, thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yoidu L'Shem Chazdoi. Number 2, it is not enough to thank. Tell the story to others. So Yoidu L'Shem Chazdoi is halal v'hidoya. Nifla Esav L'Vnei Yodam is Persum and Nisa. And this posuk is the entirety of Chanukah. Yoidu L'Shem Chazdoi v'kavu shmoines yamei Chanukah elu lahoides ulahalal. Another gersa is lahalal v'halal v'hoidoya. But Ner Chanukah is about Persum and Nisa. That's Yoidu L'Shem Chazdoi v'nifla Oisev L'Vnei Yodam. In Minchas Osha, in Lamdis, I wanted to argue that the Machloikes Rambam and Tur, whether the Ikar Mitzvahs in Chanukah is Zeichel and Nes or Persum and Nisa, is it Yoidu L'Shem Chazdoi or Nifla Oisev L'Vnei Yodam. But these are the 2 parts of Chanukah, and from the Rambam we learn that the Ikar Neshama of Chanukah is Halel v'Hoidoya. And what are we thanking for? Bitl Gzeres Yavonim and Netzochen HaMalcham. However, Libi Yoimeli, that there is a deeper connection between Adlokas HaNer and Netzochen HaMalcham. And this is entirely Libi Yoimeli. I don't have a source. But the days of the Chashmonaim were one of the most troublesome and painful days in Klal Yisrael in our history. Because there was not only an external threat, Klal Yisrael was divided and fragmented. There were the Mesyavenim. And according to various different historians, even the ones that we read, the majority of Klal Yisrael were the Mesyavenim, and the Chashmonaim controlled a minority. And the Mesyavenim said, we could get along with the Greeks. We have a lot to learn from them. They're a cultured people. You know, they gave the world many gifts. So we could keep our heritage and also accommodate for some of Greek culture. And Yochanan and Kodel decided our people and our future are in mortal danger, and there's no other choice. We need to wage war. But this was a war b'derech hateva they couldn't win. They were fighting the mightiest empire of the time. Rabim biyad ma'atim, geborim biyad chaloshim. And Yochanan Godel said, this is a time for Mesiras Nefesh. And we have no other choice. And it probably caused a huge controversy. And Yochanan Godel lifts his eyes to the heavens and he says, Rabbeinu Shalom, shlach lanu ois min hashomayim. Give me something I should be able to convince and tell those that are with me, those that are willing to stand with me. Shlach ois min hashomayim. Prove to Klal Yisrael that I'm right, that we have no other way. So the Avonim, the Pasuk says, Boeba pritzim v'chililuho. They were mechalal all the Klei HaMikdash. The name Chanukah is al Shem Chanukah HaMizbeach. They needed a new Mizbeach. They even breached the walls, the Soilag, in 13 different places. So why was the Neis Dafka in the Menorah? Because Chazal say that the Neis of the Menorah, Ner Meravi, Oisula Kol Boi Olam Shashchin Shoyre Yisrael. And if anybody had any doubt, is HaKadosh Baruch Hu with us or not? He looked at the Menorah. And the Menorah was the Ois. The Neis of Menorah. Oisula Kol Boi Olam Shashchin Shoyre. And that is why the Neis of Chanukah wasn't the Menorah. Wasn't the Shemen. Because the Menorah is the Ois. Kodesh Baruch Hu conveys a message through the Menorah. And when they found that Pach HaShemen, that was the Simem and HaShemayim, the Chashmonaim. They are right. Mil Hashem Elai. You follow Yochanan Kohen Gadol. He speaks in my name, says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that is why the Neis was in Menorah somewhere. So we are once again fighting a war. And we are starting to fall apart, being fragmented. So, will HaKadosh Baruch Hu send an ois min hashamayim? I don't think anybody doubts, any sensible person doubts, that this is a Malchamis Mitzvah. And we have no other choice, just to fight and daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He should be with us. And once again, I said this 1,000 times since Simchas Torah, we can't win wars only by force. It's not that we might lose. Without HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we lose. And without Torah, we lose. Because Chazal say in Makas Daf Yud, Oindes hoyer agleinu berachom v'schusha shalayim shoiskem b'Torah. So we need to daven, we need to learn. And many times I say to some B'nai Torah that say, we don't need the army, we only need Torah. So you say, these soldiers are good for nothing, you know. But you're so convinced that your Torah is super. Your Torah is wow. Our Torah will save the world. Are you so sure about that? Are you learning Torah Lishma? Are you learning Torah B'Tahara? And sometimes when a person learns Torah Shaloi Lishma, Noyach Lo Shaloi Nivra, depends on different levels of Torah Lishma. So you're so convinced we are super, we're the best. Our Torah is to save the world and we don't even need soldiers, we don't even need the army. And I'm very doubtful. I believe in Chazal, but I'm not so sure that our Torah is as pure. So our soldiers are not as good as the soldiers of David HaMelech, but you're convinced that your Torah is as good as the Torah of Moshe Rabbeinu? I'm not so sure. So we need to first make our cheshbon nefesh. Learn better, learn more, try to learn lishma, try to learn Hashem Shemayim, try to work on your machshavas, learn Torah b'tahara, and then we hope, we could only hope and pray that our Torah will save the day. But we definitely need Torah. We need Torah, we need tefillah, and we need, Kodesh Baruch Hu should make nisim. So that Ramchal teaches us in many of his form, Derech Hashem and Das Tvunis, and we find the same in Kedushas Levi. Our Yomim Tovim are not days of remembrance like the Goyim have. They're not days of nostalgia. We try to remember events that were in the distant past, thousands of years ago. To us, the past has never passed. The past is always present. And every year, when Yomim Tovim come, or, on the other hand, Tisha B'Av, Shavua Shechal B'Tisha B'Av, the Shulchan Aruch says, try not to have a court case. Because these are not only days in which we remember events from the past, everything comes back. And the Midas Adin of Tisha B'Av comes back every year. And the Shefa Eloki of Yomim Tovim come back every year. So Chanukah are days that are mesugal for Nisim. Kodesh Baruch Hu made Nisim then, he could make Nisim again. And these are days that are Yemei Segula. So every day, young people are dying in war. And it's not just numbers. To us, it's not numbers, it's not names, it's families. Every day with Nu Almonas, every day Nu Yesoimim, every day shattered families. Shelo Kederech HaTeva, fathers and mothers that are burying their children, it should be the other way around. And we need to feel the pain. Because the Gemara says in Tanis, if you don't feel Betzaran Shel Yisrael, we won't be Seicha to see Benachamosam. And the Rambam L'Chashuva writes, and the Rambam defines, based on the Gemara and Tanis, so we need to feel the pain. It's very hard for us to feel the pain because we don't have kids in the army. And with all your goodwill, it's not the same. I saw a person yesterday, and he was so hurt and fuming. He said, a person knocked on my door at 11 o'clock by night. I have 3 children in the army. I couldn't open the door. I was terrified. Who's knocking on my door at 11 o'clock by night? Is it a messenger with the most horrible message? I didn't want to go to the door. These people are afraid to open the door. But he was knocking and knocking and knocking. I had no choice. With trepidation, I opened the door. Who's standing there? A collector. He says, I wanted to kick him in the face. But I didn't. What? You wouldn't have that sensitivity. You wouldn't even understand what I'm talking about. And there's something wrong with this. No. Something is great that we're learning Torah. Nothing is greater than that. And Klal Yisrael needs Torah. Torah with a little touch of humility. Not being so convinced that our Torah is, is gonna do everything. A little anova together with Torah and a little shivra and lev is important. But we try, we do our best. But we need to feel the pain and we need to understand what other families are going through. And we need to feel their pain. And therefore we need to feel even more obligation to learn, to daven, to do chesed, ahavas reim, and this is what Klal Yisrael needs. We need soldiers fighting with Mesiras Nefesh, but we won't win this war without Koyach HaTorah and Koyach HaTefillah, and that is our responsibility. So let me finish today's shiur just by saying the tefillah that we find in Ramah. If a person forgot to say Al Nisim before he ends benching, Mohorachamans, he says, Horachamon, Hu Yasa Lano, Nisim v'nefrois, Keshem she'osis olav Huseinu b'yom ha'ma'im b'zman hazeh. Kodesh Baruch Hu should once again in these days of Chanukah show us Nisim v'Neflois, and the war should be over B'Korav, and all those young soldiers should come safely home, L'chaim v'Lesimcha v'Lasholem, v'Nosati Sholem ba'oretz u'shechaftem v'ein machrid, and we should be Zoicha Lirois Kohen Gadol Meitev u'madlik es haneres b'menores amora b'mheiro v'yomeinu amen.